gonna be sharing with you 10 no-bake recipes. Man, I'm pumped about this. I did just go to the grocery store and this is the most cream cheese I've ever bought in a single trip. 10 packages of cream cheese. Don't worry, it doesn't call for cream cheese in every recipe. The first recipe actually calls for 3 sticks of cream cheese, which is a no-bake strawberry cheesecake recipe. And I'm starting off by throwing a whole carton of strawberries. I've rinsed them, I've cleaned them, I'm cutting the tops off of them and just throwing them into a blender or food processor just to blend them all up. Oh my heavens, it has got to be strawberry season because these are like the juiciest, most delicious strawberries and they look really good on the inside. They're probably still GMO, but that's okay. What isn't these days? I scoured the internet trying to find some really great recipes, like no-bake recipes, and I found so many. I'm talking like some of the recipes that I thought for sure I was going to make that sparked this idea of no-bake recipes. I'm not even making those because I found so many more good ones. I printed out about 20 or so recipes. I'm only making 10. So if you enjoy this and it's a hit, there might be a part 2 with some even more no-bake recipes. So I've got the strawberries here. I'm just gonna blend them up.
You don't have to add anything to them. They will eventually blend. Just keep going. That looks nice and liquidy. The recipe says to strain this. Honestly, I think it looks so liquidy. I don't even feel like this needs to be strained. Should I do it anyway?
And of course I have to fill up my sugar container because why wouldn't I? But I'm reading through the recipe and it calls for 3/4 cup of sugar divided. Then I'm reading through the rest of the recipe and it's like, hey, combine the strawberry puree with the sugar. Well, how much sugar? It doesn't specify. So I read through the rest of the recipe thinking like it'll tell me what I need to divide it with. It doesn't, nothing on here that I can see. Maybe later I'll read it again and it'll be like the rest of the sugar. So I'm going to add 3/4 cup of sugar straight to the puree along with, I feel like we're making jam here. So a little shortcut. If you're looking to cut a little corner, I don't have my tablespoon. Okay, I can't find my tablespoon. I almost did it, but it calls for 4 tablespoons of cornstarch, and that's a 1/4 cup. So another confusion, but here we go. Let's make things easier. I'm throwing a 1/4 cup in here. I'm just gonna blend it up again so I don't have to like dirty another bowl. A little chunky, it's okay. You know what's next? We're gonna bring it on back to the stovetop. I feel like this is cheating a little bit, but for cheesecake, I'll allow it. We're gonna cheat a couple of times making these recipes, but still, we're not firing up that oven, okay? It's still no bake, technically. I'm gonna pour this stuff straight into a pot. Get some jam going on back there. Okay, it would have benefited me to read through these recipes. It calls for a 9-inch springform pan. I think I have one, fingers crossed. I actually have 2, I found them in my garage, hallelujah. Neither one of them are 9 inches, but I'm gonna do my best and use this one. Oh my goodness, I could cry. This is what life is like, my life anyway, probably not anyone else's. I'm digging around for some measuring cups. You guys, what do I find in my measuring cup bin? Not only do I find a tablespoon measuring cup, which I have no idea where this came from. You know what that is? Do you see it? An avocado rotting away. It smells worse than it looks, I'll tell you that right now. That is so gross. Blech.
I got distracted by the avocado and kind of let this go, but I'm thinking that it looks exactly as it should. Oh, can't you see that? I took it off the heat. It is very thick because of the cornstarch that thickened it up. And I'm going to let this cool. Ooh, yeah, you can kind of see how thick it is if it wasn't steaming so much. All right, I'm gonna put this probably in the freezer. So I'm just gonna dump it into a separate dish. And now I'm thinking, oh boy, is this gonna crack? Because of the scalding hot strawberry jam we just made, throwing it into a freezing cold freezer. Well, we're about to find out. So for the crust of this no-bake strawberry cheesecake, I'm going to melt 1/2 cup of butter, so 1 stick of butter in the microwave. To the melted butter, I'm going to add 2 1/4 cup of graham cracker crumbs. And I just bought these already crumbed graham crackers, but you could just grab whatever graham crackers and then grind them up in the food processor or, you know, smush them with a rolling pin or whatever you want to do. But I live in America
and they sell them like this, so I take the convenience. Mix this together, make sure all of those crumbs are moistened. Once it's all moistened, I'm going to throw it into the springform pan. And I did line it with parchment paper. It just makes it easier to take the cheesecake out once it's all done. I'm just gonna press this down and then make a little side. I feel like a little artistic ability is needed for this part. But like, even if it looks bad, it's homemade, you know? That's how people know it's homemade. So I'm going to set this aside, pull out my KitchenAid because I do not have a hand mixer. I should probably just order one. And to this, I'm going to beat 3 packages of cream cheese. It is cheesecake after all. Now beat this for a few minutes. I just beat the heck out of it until it was nice and smooth. Now I'm going to add 1 cup of powdered sugar and a little dollop of vanilla bean paste, if I have any left in here. A little bit more. All right, that's good. Beat this together. I'm actually gonna scrape the sides down because the cream cheese is pretty sticky. Oh yeah, that's nice and creamy and smooth already. Okay, mix it all up. This looks fantastic. Look how smooth that is. You can see the flecks of vanilla bean in there. Oh, so special. You want to see? It's a little blurry here, but can you see the specks? Ooh, la 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 la. I'm actually not sure if you can see them. My screen is really dirty. There's definitely some dirt specks on it. Anyway, so to this, I just pulled this out of my freezer. I'm going to add this strawberry mush just straight in. How easy is that? Give this a mix. Oh my, yep. I don't even like cheesecake, but that looks good, undeniable. So that's not it for the filling. I actually have to whip up some heavy whipping cream, and I'm really happy that I have a separate bowl to do it with. So I'm gonna interchange this and add 1 cup of heavy whipping cream to a bowl. Or you could just use like Cool Whip. You know what I mean? There are a lot of shortcuts that could be done here. Whip this up. Ooh, I did this a little bit too much. I walked away to put something in the sink. These are really stiff peaks. One would say it is starting to separate, but I certainly wouldn't. I'm going to add the whipped cream straight to this mixture and then just fold it in. I'm trying to keep that lift there as much as I can. That looks good. I'm gonna dump it onto the crust, just straight in there, all of it. And you have to chill this for at least 6 to 8 hours. They say overnight is best. And then of course you can garnish it with even more whipped cream and then strawberries and all that good stuff. Okay, that looks nice and smooth to me. Tap it out and then throw it in the fridge. It actually looks really good.
This one is one of the more impressive desserts that I made. Something about decorating it, you know, going that extra step, taking the extra mile. I said that the wrong way, but you get what I'm stepping in. Like very simple too. It wasn't like I did something so extravagant. It's just like minimal effort, maximum results, and that's what it's all about. This one was really delicious if you like the flavor of strawberries. And I guess really this whole recipe was kind of going the extra mile in like making our own jam, even though it was like thicker than jam. You get what I'm trying to say. But I had some whipped cream left over from a recipe that I'm going to make later. And I just put it in a piping bag, piped some rosettes, if we want to be fancy about it. You can do anything you want. I cut up a little strawberry, put that on the center, and it's, you know, just something about it makes it look really impressive. And obviously it's homemade because you can see the crust is like not proportionate, but that's totally fine. We had a bunch of people over this night and they dug into it. This was delicious. If you like cheesecake and if you like strawberries, those are the 2 main factors that you would need to enjoy this cake. I will say when I served it, like it wasn't fully set. So it overnight would be best.
Okay, that was a lot of steps. Not gonna lie. I'm hoping this next one is a little bit faster to put together. It is a no-bake chocolate Nutella cheesecake bars. I didn't know that. How many bars of cream? I need 3 more packages of cream cheese for this one. My goodness gracious. It starts off with chocolate baking crumbs. What? I'm sorry, I don't know what that is. I actually forgot to add it to my grocery list because I literally, as I was making it, I was like, I don't know what that is. But I do have some Oreos in my pantry, so I'm just gonna use those. I can't imagine what a chocolate crumb is. They must mean Oreos. I mean, there's no other. If you want to be extra, like take the filling out. I'm not gonna do that. Is this gonna turn out okay? Time will tell. I'm sure it's gonna be delicious. It's got Nutella in it. Actually, I didn't even buy Nutella. I'll show you what I got. I got Bon Mamam. I don't know how to pronounce this. A rose by any other name. I love their jams, and I saw this on the shelf and I was like, cool. It is a hazelnut chocolate spread, and I really just got it for scientific research, really. I figured you needed to know how it compared to Nutella. The oil separated a little bit, so I'm just going to mix it. I've tried many Nutella alternatives in my day, and I'm gonna tell you something right now. None of them compare to actual Nutella, and absolutely none of them compare to buying Nutella in Europe. It's different. I don't care what they tell you, it really is. Isn't everything far superior over there? What's going on with America? All right, bottoms up. I have my trays in. This is, it's good, except for the aftertaste. I've even made homemade Nutella. My homemade Nutella honestly tasted better than this. I'm just saying. The second time there was no aftertaste. Just give me a second. My Invisalign are gonna be like brown. Yeah, there's a slight thing where you're like, it's good, but Nutella's up here, okay? I'm sorry. No one can figure it out, not even Bon Maman. The sad part about this is that this still has, you know what, it's pretty good. Yeah, I mean, I would eat the whole jar with a spoon. I'm not saying I wouldn't, okay? Anyway, that still has like 30 grams of sugar. The font is so small, I'm trying to lie to myself and maybe it just says 3. Oh, 30%. Hold on, let's reevaluate. 15 grams! Yeah! All right, that made it a little bit better for me, not gonna lie. Anyway, I'm going to throw in the Oreos in a food processor, grind these up, and I'm gonna use this as my base, as a chocolate crumb.
Not gonna lie, 15 grams is still a lot, but better than Nutella. I've already made a complete mess of my kitchen. It's fine, that's what cooking day is all about. Let's blend them up. Well, this looks like a great chocolatey crumb if I've ever seen one, okay? This is actual perfection. So I'm gonna bring it over here. I'm gonna dump it into half a stick of melted butter. Not half a stick, it's half a cup. It's a full stick. Oh my gosh, I didn't measure this. It's supposed to be 2 1/4 cup. Well, we've gone this far. Good enough, right? I hope. It'll be good enough, whatever. It's not even that serious, right? Moisten up the crumbs. No, I didn't wash this bowl from the graham crackers before. It's like, who cares? Yeah, these are real wet. I think I need more Oreos. All right, here's what I'm gonna do. It's actually 2 1/2 cups, so I went ahead and crumbed up another sleeve of Oreos. Just gonna mix all of this in. Okay, that's much better. Then I'm gonna throw it into a 9 by 13 dish and flatten it out. Press it down, pack it firmly, so when it cools, you know, it makes a nice little layer there. It's nice and sturdy. This looks perfect. I'm really second guessing whether or not I even made a grocery list for this recipe because it calls for 3/4 cup of chopped chocolate. Like baking chocolate? I don't know. I'm gonna use chocolate chips. I feel like that's better because the rest of the recipe only has a cup of sugar in it. I don't know. And then a tablespoon of heavy whipping cream, and I'm going to throw this in the microwave and melt it 30 seconds at a time. Mixing in between. Ooh, this smells like Christmas to me. I love it. It needs like 30 more seconds. Okay, this looks, did I over melt this? Oh, I'm so notorious for that. I may have over melted this chocolate. I'm not really sure though. You know what? It's perfect. It's actually perfect. Nice and smooth. I'm gonna set this aside and let it cool. While I add 3 8-ounce bars of cream cheese to my mixer. 20 minutes later, I got it in there and I'm going to whip it up. High speed. The cream cheese is looking nice and smooth, so I'm gonna add a couple more ingredients. After I scrape it down, I'm going to add 3/4 cup of Nutella. And I'm not gonna lie, I usually shy away from Nutella baked goods recipes because I'm like, literally nothing tastes as good as Nutella with a spoon. And I feel like I'm just wasting it, you know? But I've got high hopes for this one. Hopefully it is as delicious as it sounds. I'm also going to add 1 cup of powdered sugar and then give this a mix. Next thing I'm going to add, which by the way, this looks really nice and luxurious and smooth, but we're not done. Couple more things apparently. I'm gonna add this hunky chocolate that is not cooled. This looks wrong, but here we are. Just shove it in there. Mix that in. Oh yeah, looking good.
That's wrong. That's gotta be all wrong.
Whatever. Yeah, it's not creamy anymore. It has like clumps of chocolate.
I definitely used the wrong chocolate, but she didn't specify. She didn't specify what kind of chocolate. She literally wrote chopped chocolate. Maybe I should have printed up the notes or something. And then what's even worse, it's the same recipe maker as before. She said, hey, next step, whipped up the whipped cream, which I just used this bowl, so I can't do it in here. So I have to wash a bowl, but it doesn't tell me how much whipping cream to put. I'm gonna assume 1 cup. I'm making a lot of assumptions in this recipe. So that's what I'm gonna do. 1 cup of heavy whipping cream, throwing that in here. And I'm gonna whip it up. Stiff peaks are peaking. I feel like I have completely ruined this recipe with that chocolate that I added. Man, that was the worst. But I'm gonna roll with it. Who knows, it might still be delicious. I'm gonna fold in the heavy whipping cream. It's gonna lighten it up a little bit. I guess I'll take a little chef's taste test here. Oh my gosh. When I tell you clumpy, oh boy. I mean, it tastes good. The chocolate clumps are not it. Dump this delicious mixture into the crumb, the prepared 9x13 pan. Spread this out evenly, and you can garnish this with some whipping cream, maybe some, I don't know, Nutella drizzle. Good enough. I'm gonna throw it into the fridge.
Hey, make sure your guests, whoever you're serving it to, know that there are hazelnuts in this so we don't have any allergy mishaps, okay? This one, of course, was one of my favorites. Chocolate on chocolate with Nutella inside. Supreme. The textures were really great, even though I messed it up. I messed it up so bad and it was still good.
Now I think this one will be a lot less time intensive than the first 2 recipes. This is a no-bake peanut butter icebox cake. Anything peanut butter and or Reese's, sign me the heck up. There's no chocolate in this, which I found a recipe with it. I don't know if it's in my stack or we'll find out eventually. So the first thing I need is a pan. Here we go. And the base, you don't have to cook anything. It's fantastic. No saucepan. Hopefully no whipping cream in this one. It calls for Nutter Butters. I'm not sure I've ever had a Nutter Butter. I wonder if you like dip a Nutter Butter in the Nutella. Oh, if I didn't have my trays in right now, I would be in heaven. But I will refrain. A little unexpected. Okay, you know how when you're cooking with lady fingers, you like dip them in a liquid mixture? Well, this is pretty similar, okay? It calls for half a cup of milk. Okay, good enough. And then you take these and dip them real quick. Pull them out and layer them in a 9x13 dish. Oh crap, it's an 8x8 pan. Why do I do this? Oh, why? Where is my 8x8 pan? Oh crap, I think it's holding key lime pie bars. I fear I don't have another 8x8 dish. What do I do? Okay, don't worry, that took forever, but I do have an 8x8 dish here. Ooh, soggy peanut butter cookies. Okay, let's continue this train. Fill up the rest of this dish. Okay, well, I feel like I wasted this milk, but don't worry, because we have to make some pudding. Actually, nothing goes to waste. I need 1 and a, well, no, I can't do that. 1 1/4 cup of milk. I know this is not a liquid measuring cup, but this is how I live my life, okay? Leave me alone. And then I'm going to add a little box, 3.4 ounces, I think, of vanilla pudding. And honestly, like, do this part first because you have to let it set for a few minutes, in which case you could have done this while this was setting and you don't have to sit around and wait. You know, whisk it for a couple minutes.
All right, that's about all the patience I have for this. It was in my fridge for just a couple of minutes, but it is thickened. So to the pudding mixture, I'm going to add half a cup of peanut butter. And I'm just gonna whisk that in until it's nice and smooth. Then I'm going to mix in half of a container of the Cool Whip. Just fold this in. Okay, once that's all settled, I'm just gonna spread it out in the bowl so that I can kind of take half of this and spread it right on top. And you know what? I had a little bit of time to read the rest of the recipe, and we're making some layers here, which I was not expecting. It said to use 1/3 of the this is a
piddly layer, okay? This is why I need to make my own recipes. We need to double this mixture, like a family size bag of Jell-O, whole one of these, maybe 12 ounces or something. It's like when you go to eat a cake and there's no frosting. Okay, good enough. Now, the other layer. You're supposed to use 1/3 of these on the bottom. Yeah, I didn't do that. I used like half of them. So we're just gonna go in with 2 layers. I feel like that's gonna be good enough. Okay, perfect. And then go in with the rest of the pudding mixture. And then take the rest of the Cool Whip and just smear that out. Looking fantastic, but you know, if you look at this, it's unassuming. People might be like, hey, what the heck is in there? So let's give them a little hint by adding some Reese's Pieces to the top. I'm just gonna throw some of these. And you know what? I could have bought like at the checkout where they have this single bag of Reese's Pieces, Reese's Pieces, whatever you wanna call them. That would have worked because this was $6. And then add on to it, I was like, yeah, let's add some of these to the top too to make it fancy. Also $6. Absolute insanity. Okay, I'll make my outrageous Reese's cookies with these and it'll all be worth it. Should we add some of these to the top or would they ruin it? I kind of like it like this. I'm gonna let this puppy chill for 2 hours. I have no idea how I'm gonna find space in my fridge for the rest of the things that I'm going to make. The next thing is a key lime pie trifle. You know, I'm a huge fan of trifles. I got a dish just for this occasion. And a key lime pie anything. I recently made some key lime pie bars in my beach video. I'm looking for a measuring cup, but I found one. Good enough. Okay, it calls for 13 graham crackers crushed up. I'm gonna do like 1.5 cups. Oh crap, I have to melt the butter. Melt a stick of butter. I'm just too excited because this one is more of a semi-homemade recipe. It calls for angel food cake and I get to use my trifle dish. Where is it? I found it. It is great. It is the perfect size. Even though it's a trifle, we're still making some kind of crumb. So to 1 stick of melted butter, I'm going to add 1.5 cups of graham cracker crumbs. And you know what? I'm just gonna do the rest of the bag. Perfect, but that's not all. To this, I'm going to add 6 tablespoons of brown sugar, perfect, along with 1 teaspoon of cinnamon. Oh my gosh, this just made everything smell like fall, and I'm here for it. Hey, Hobby Lobby has fall out already, and I stroll down the aisles like, ah! I'm fully in summer mode though, don't worry. So I'm just gonna mix all of this together. This smells absolutely amazing, just these ingredients. I could eat this with a spoon, just like midnight snack style, you know? Midday snack, breakfast snack, lunch snack, really any time of day. Once the crumb is done, I'm going to whip up 1 stick of softened cream cheese. This actually has more steps than I anticipated for a semi-homemade meal. I am going to add, once that is all softened, some sweetened condensed milk, 2 cans of it actually. I'm just gonna dump it right in as it's mixing. Actually, I need to scrape it out. You know, I didn't think I was a huge fan of key lime pie until I recently made some key lime pie bars. And now I'm like obsessed with the tartness and the flavor of it. And this one might be even better because it's a no bake. I also have like a fruit trifle that I make with key lime pie yogurt. Supreme. Okay, this looks nice and creamy. To this, I'm going to add 3/4 cup of lime juice. And when I made the key lime pie bars, I juiced all my limes, but I'm taking a little convenience. And honestly, fresh is always best. I'm just gonna say that. But also to that, I'm going to add 1 tablespoon of the lime zest in there. Oh my heaven! The dish just got elevated, okay? Mix that together. LOL, joke's on me. We're not done mixing. I'm going to add 2 cups of heavy whipping cream to a bowl. Perfect. Ooh, this mixture looks creamy and dreamy, but I'm gonna take it off, whip up the heavy whipping cream like so. While that's mixing, I'm going to cube up the angel food cake. Ooh, what a delight this is. The whole thing? Man, you know I'm excited about this. Okay, I'm just gonna cut it down the middle and then make a few more slices, and then from there a few more slices. I'm trying to figure out the most effective way to do this. And then there we go, we've got little cubies. Perfect. You know what? An angel food cake hates to see me coming. I'm glad I have my trays in, otherwise half of this would be in my belly right now. It's so light, it feels like you're eating air. And then it's like, yeah, of course I could have another piece. I barely had anything.
Honestly, if you're asking for my opinion, grab an angel food cake, top it with some fresh cream and berries, and you've got yourself a no-bake dessert right there.
But if you're looking to elevate it, the next step to this, ooh, this is already so creamy. Okay, I'm gonna add the whipping cream straight to this and then fold it in. And once it's folded in, then it's time to assemble the trifle dish. I have no room in my fridge for a trifle dish. So let's start the layering, shall we? Okay, it starts out with a little bit of crumble on the bottom. Don't really know how much, but okay. A bit of crumble, and then some angel food cake. Okay. And then a few generous dollops of the cream. This is, no, that's a no for me. Okay, here we go. Just like dump it on top. Try to smooth it out a little bit. I would say like a cup of this. How's it looking so far? All right, I'm gonna repeat the layers.
This one was another one that I just love throwing trifles together because they look really impressive. They're not actually like the most functional to serve because you kind of have to like scoop to get a good like portion of everything, you know what I mean? But all in all, I thought this was really great. The pudding had a really nice flavor of the lime, of course. And what's the difference between limes and key limes? Okay, other than size, is there like a substantial flavor difference? Because I used normal limes. These are like GMO humongous limes, and I actually love them. I love the tartness. I love the flavor of it. And I loved the angel food cake, and the graham crackers gave it a nice little crunch in there. So the texture profile of this was really hitting all the notes.
This recipe is one that I've never made before. It caught my attention. It is frozen s'mores. I recently made a like no-bake s'mores treat in my summer setup video, and that was a hit and a half. They were like pudding cups, but with a little twist. I think the general consensus is that s'mores in summertime is an absolute staple. So I couldn't make a no-bake treat recipe without including something s'mores. Line a 9x13 dish with some parchment paper. It's a little easier to manipulate if you crinkle it up first, and then I spray the pan so it has something to stick to, but it's still a pain to do. I'm gonna start off by layering the dish with some graham crackers. I have to get those flavors of the season in here. Oh, that's the worst when it breaks, isn't it? So I'm just gonna line the bottom. Okay, perfectly lined. What's next? So the next layer is the chocolate pudding layer. So I just have a large one of these, instant pudding. It's 5.9 ounces. I'm just gonna throw that into a bowl, along with 2.5 cups of cold milk. And I'm just gonna whip this together for a couple of minutes until it thickens up. And then to the pudding mixture, I'm going to add 1/4 of the Cool Whip container. So about 1/2 cup. Mix this in. Perfect. Now I'm gonna layer this over the graham cracker layer. Well, it doesn't get much easier than this, so I'm just gonna spread it out. You know, I can't believe anything I see on Pinterest. The picture shows a s'more that's like this thick. The chocolate layer is about 4 inches tall. This is definitely not as thick, but I think it'll still yield a really nice dessert. We'll see what it looks like when it comes out, right? Okay, I'm gonna throw this into the freezer while I work on the next layer. For the second layer, back at the mixer, I have like a couple more spatulas left, and then I'm completely depleted. I gotta start doing some dishes, okay? I'm gonna throw in 1 container, whatever these are called, 1 block of cream cheese. Okay, there it is. Whip away. Once it's nice and smooth, I'm going to add in a jar of marshmallow cream. Oh yeah, this is what makes it taste like a s'mores, because that marshmallow flavor. I love marshmallow cream. I think the first time I had it was at my sister-in-law's house, and we were going like on a camping excursion. It really isn't as intense as it sounds. Anyway, we were in Dahlonega, Georgia, and we packed marshmallow cream and peanut butter on a sandwich? Have you ever? I was like, what other secrets are you hiding from me? Okay, tell me. Mix that up. Okay, that actually incorporated really nicely, quickly. Everything looks so smooth, but that would be pretty gross, right? Like marshmallow fluff and cream cheese, like pretty nasty. So to bump it up, make it taste delicious, we're gonna add the rest of the container of this like Cool Whip, frozen whipped topping, whatever you wanna call it. The store brand, because Publix is superior. All right, fold this in. Looking good, looking good. I think you know what's next. That's right, throwing it on top of this chocolate layer here. Plop it right on top and then spread it out. Okay, that's looking good. Now on top of that, I'm gonna cover it with more graham crackers. What's best, like this? What should I do, 2? Would this fit 2? That look better? Yeah, okay, let's try this way. There's nothing worse than when a graham cracker crumbles. Oh, like that. Nothing in life is worse than that. Okay, sweet, there we are. Okay, cover this, throw it in the freezer. 6 hours. Listen, I should have made all of these yesterday.
I wish I would have had the foresight to make them all earlier, but even though this was only in the freezer for a few hours, you can see that it totally solidified and it was delicious. And if you like that s'mores flavor and want something cold, this is the perfect option.
All right, 5 down, 5 to go. This is taking a lot longer than I initially planned. I swear, if this next recipe, I have to like mix together 7 different things, it's gonna be my last recipe. Okay, actually the next one looks really amazing, so we have to make this one. And it's only 5 ingredients? 4 ingredients. All right, cool, I'm excited for that one. We'll definitely do it. This one is Mom's No-Bake Pineapple Dessert. I felt like we needed a bit of pineapple flair in the no-bake recipe realm. I need to gather some ingredients. This is our last 2 packets of cream cheese. I told you not every recipe had it, but the first 6 definitely did. I love this too, the crust. Half melted butter. It just says half. Half what? Half a stick? Half a cup? I need more details. Was this written by AI? All right. I hope I have pineapple too, because in my head I was like, yeah, I got it. So I didn't buy it. Fingers crossed. Good news, I do have the crushed pineapple and the pineapple juice. So to make the crust for this, which I actually, what is this? In a pan? 9 by 13 dish. I actually found a recipe for little mini muffin ones, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna do that one. But it was AI for sure. Like the recipe didn't match up to any of it, and I was like, really? Okay, so I'm gonna melt half a stick of butter in the microwave. To the melted butter, I'm going to add 2 1/4 cups of graham cracker crumbs. And these smell so good. I just mix this together. Really simple crumb over here. That's it. Once it's mixed, I'm going to dump it into a 9 by 13 dish. I'm just mixing it up a little bit with this oval dish, but it's still like 9 by 13-ish. I'm gonna pack this down so that when that butter cools, it makes a nice crumb layer. Perfect. Next, I need to wash a bowl. Or do I? I don't. I'm gonna use this bowl. Heck to the yeah. So in it, I'm gonna throw in my very last 2 boxes of cream cheese, hallelujah. And then I'm gonna whip it up. Listen, if it has a little bit of marshmallow fluff in there, I'm okay with that. I actually just tasted that from the s'mores recipe. Delightful. Once that's nice and smooth, I'm going to add in 1.5 cups of powdered sugar. I think this one might be my favorite. I love a good pineapple dessert in the thick heat of summertime. Once that's in, mix it up. But while that's mixing, I'm going to drain the crushed pineapple. Ooh, that looks really tropical. Okay, and then I'm gonna add the crushed pineapple to the cream cheese mixture. I'm also going to add a couple tablespoons of the reserved juice here. Ooh, yeah. And then mix that in. Perfection, but guess what? Yeah, we need some heavy whipping cream up in this place. I don't even see my bowl, my heavy whipping cream bowl. You see it anywhere? Oh, there it is. I have to wash it. All right, switching this out, hopefully for the last time. And I'm going to pour in 1 cup of heavy whipping cream.
Okay, I'm gonna whip this up. I caught it right before it was about to turn into butter. And I'm gonna take it and, you guessed it, fold it into this mixture. Wow. Wow, revolutionary. Okay, looks good to me. And then of course, I'm going to plop it into the pan. And once this is chilled for, 6 to 8 hours, I totally misjudged it. I was like, oh, a couple hours, it'll be good to go. I might throw it in the freezer, see how that works out. But then you top it with some more heavy whipping cream, like whip it up, you know? And then sprinkle a little graham cracker crust on top of that, like crumbs. And then boom, you've got a perfect summer delight. That's the only bad thing about these recipes is that they take all day. You can't eat them until like next day. I'm still serving all these in like 3 hours. Whatever, into the fridge.
So this one was really fantastic. The pineapple was the perfect summer flavor to throw in there. Someone asked if it was more of like an ambrosia salad because it did have the fruit in there, and the texture of this was more like sloppy because of, you know, the soft pudding and stuff or whatever the heck we mixed together, but it was great.
This next recipe I'm excited about because I haven't seen anything like it. It looks really interesting. It uses Oreo thins. I'm just gonna wipe my counter up a little bit. That pineapple juice is a little sticky. Okay, so this one is an icebox cake. Classic icebox cake, but is it? So many of the icebox cakes that I saw call for graham crackers. This one doesn't, but it does call for 3 cups of heavy whipping cream. I'm gonna whip this up. This one might be the easiest, honestly. Am I doing something wrong? No. Not yet, anyway. All right, there we go, whip it up. Once it has like soft peaks forming, I'm going to add a 1/4 cup of powdered sugar. All right, the peaks look stiff over here. I gotta tell you, I thought this was gonna be an easy one. I'm pretty confused. Okay, let me read it to you and see if you can make sense of it. Make 8 stacks of cookies. 8 stacks of, how many cookies? I don't know. Turn stacks on edge and place on a serving platter, forming a 14-inch long cake. Okay. Frost top and sides with remaining whipped cream. Dust with cocoa powder, blah, blah, blah. How are they gonna just stay, how are they gonna stay up while I frost them? Doesn't make any sense. So I decided to throw mine, the mini Oreos, by the way, not mini, but thins, Oreo thins. This is a bread pan. I'm just gonna plop the frosting right on top. I feel like this might be an AI recipe because it doesn't even say, hey, put the whipped cream on top. It just says, place remaining whipped cream. Like, what do you mean remaining whipped cream? So we'll see how this turns out. You know, they can't all be superstars. I will say this is an absolute ton of whipped cream. All right, I am going to throw this in the fridge for as long as I can withstand. Try to push it down and see if it will like go in between the Oreos, you know? All right, we'll see how this turns out. Delicious.
This one was a favorite among the kids. I think there's just something special about Oreos and whipped cream. It doesn't get any easier than that. It was delicious and it tasted exactly how you might imagine it would. Oreos and whipped cream. Great for those picky eaters.
Oh, I am dissatisfied with this. Island Punch Spindrift. It tastes like vomit, if I'm being honest. I don't know what it's supposed to, guava. Yeah, that's what it actually tastes like. So cheers to you if you like that. I was really looking forward to something delicious, okay? I had to go outside to get some apple juice because our next recipe has nothing to do with apples, but it is chocolate rum balls. I don't have rum, and I was gonna buy some from the store just to make these. I have rum extract, but it calls for a 1/4 cup, so I need some liquid along with it. So I feel like apple juice might do the trick. We're about to find out. But these are chocolate rum balls. I've never made these before. My family makes a rum ball recipe that is supreme. No one likes it, except for like our family. More for me, honestly, but I figured I'd give these a try. So I may have come into a little problem over here. Well, I thought I made an extensive grocery list. I'm missing cream cheese. I'm missing ground almonds, which I could grind my own, but 3 ounces of unsweetened chocolate. I have that. And 8 Oreo cookies. I don't have any. Wait, I have the Oreo thins. All right, I'm gonna do it. I have low expectations for this one. Here we go. outside. All right, I'm making a few substitutions here, but I still think it's gonna turn out great. It says to dissolve coffee granules. I have some instant coffee here. All you need is 1 teaspoon, and you dissolve it in warm rum, a 1/4 cup of it. I'm going to do evaporated milk instead of the juice. I made the executive decision to use evaporated milk because that's what my family uses in theirs, and it tastes good, and I don't know, I'm gonna throw this in the microwave to make it warm. But don't worry, I am going to add rum extract to it.
Okay, that's nice and bubbly. I'm gonna do a teaspoon of the coffee grounds, and I'm gonna throw in a little bit of the rum extract in here, a couple teaspoons. Ooh, look at that bubble. Oh yeah, that smells fantastic. I feel like I could drink this. It'd be really good. Maybe a little bit more rum extract, right? Didn't hurt anyone. Yeah, that's what I need it to smell like. All right, put this aside. I'm gonna come back over here. I still have my food processor out. So I'm gonna make some ground almonds, 1 cup of them. That looks good, and I'm just gonna pulse it until it grinds up. Okay, this looks good enough for me. I really like a nice, a little texture to it. I'm gonna get 1 cup of this, but not before I grind up 8 Oreo cookies. These are thins, so I'm gonna do like, I don't know, 16, double, right? How about more? Okay, these Oreos look nice. I'm gonna add 1 cup of the ground almonds. And also 1 cup of confectioner sugar, but you know what I just realized? I didn't even look to see if I have cream cheese. So this could all be for naught. I'm gonna blend this together anyway, just for fun.
So I really messed this one up. You guys, the crushed cookies is what you're supposed to roll the balls in. Yeah, I already mixed it with everything else. I could just start from scratch again. That's an option. I did find 4 ounces of cream cheese. You know what? I'm just gonna mix it all together. It'll be fine. Or at least we'll see if it will be fine. I'm going to throw this in. It is not softened, but I'm gonna beat it up, and I am not washing this. And you can't make me. We've already screwed this. That's pineapple. Whatever. Pineapple and rum go together. Yeah. Hey, you know what I was thinking? Since I added more like dry mixture, I'm gonna add in a little bit more cream cheese, a couple more ounces of that. It'll be fine. While that's mixing, I'm going to melt, what is this, like a cup of chocolate chips in the microwave. That's nice and soft, so I'm going to throw in this mixture. I really think it's gonna still turn out fine. Who's with me, okay? Mix this in. Oh yeah, and we have to throw this in too, so I'm gonna moisten everything up. Oh yes! See, now it looks a little sticky. I don't know what is going on with my microwave. I've melted a bunch of chocolate in it before. Listen, it's gotta be the type of chocolate. I always bought Kirkland in the past. This is the Nestle Toll House. It's like not melted, but it's over melted. You know what I mean? Like it's not good. I'm gonna try this again. It's supposed to be smooth and milky. I'm pissed. All right, I have some Hershey's. I'm just gonna break this up, melt it. This was an open bar, so I don't really know how much was in it, but the whole bar was almost 8 ounces. Wish me luck. Okay, maybe it's a setting on my microwave, you guys. I don't know what the heck is happening. Like this looks better, it's smoother, but it's still not, like, do I need to bust out my double boiler? I don't really wanna do that. Okay, I think this is loose enough where I can shove it in here and it will be fine. So that's what I'm gonna do. Pour the chocolate in here and then mix it all up. And I am going to let this cool in the fridge for about an hour so that I'm able to like scoop it out and form it into balls. And then my plan all along was to not roll it in the Oreos because obviously I didn't read that part beforehand, but I bought chocolate sprinkles because who doesn't like a rum ball with a sprinkle on it? All right, that's the plan. And in the meantime, I'm going to clean up this mess and also this mess behind me. Yeah, those are all the spatulas that I went through.
I did have a couple of more recipes to do. I might do this one, but I think I'm gonna forego the no-bake mint chocolate bar. I don't know, like I say that, but they look so good. I'm debating. This has been sitting for a while. Oh, by the way, I did clean my entire kitchen, by the way. Only took me 15 minutes. But this is still pretty sticky, so I'm going to add just a little bit of graham cracker crumbs in here and see if that helps. And then I'm gonna roll them into balls. Oh yeah, that'll help a lot.
So this mixture was so loose and soft, even though I did set it in the fridge for a while and I added even more dry ingredients. I think adding that extra 2 ounces of cream cheese really did me in. I mean, it's hard to tell what went wrong here because I just did so many things wrong. But that's okay. That's what making food is all about. And guess what? These got eaten. Some people liked them more than others. And I think they had a good flavor. It was just the texture that I personally wasn't a huge fan of. I like something more firm. And of course, I was comparing them to my famous Rum Balls, which there's no beating that because it's like the most delicious thing that I make. So this prompted me in my head. I'm like, ooh, I need to make my own Rum Balls soon because they are that delicious. And plus rainbow sprinkles, that brightens everything up. So if you're wanting to keep this summery, I would do that. But that is the whole spread. Thank you guys so much for watching and hanging out. I hope I gave you some good ideas for no-bake recipes to make this summer. If you want to subscribe, put a little happy in your day, and I'll see you next time. Bye.